Hello, my name is Alicia, and I will be doing a lesson on summarizing. In the state of Florida, the standard is ELA 10R 3.2, which states students will be able to paraphrase content from grade level texts. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, students. Today, we are going to finish up our 5 steps to comprehension. So over the past few weeks, we have been going over the steps needed for the 5 steps of comprehension. Here we have listed the first 4 steps that we've already been through, which is to number the paragraphs, star the text features, highlight key information within the questions, make sure that we're understanding the questions, right? Highlight key information within the text. And then step 5, which is what we're going to learn today, is to summarize. Now, I'm pretty sure some of you are probably thinking, Miss Miller, I already know how to summarize. And I'm pretty sure you do. However, in reading your assignments over the last few weeks, I have come to realize that my students need more information or need more help with summarizing. So we're going to work on that today. And by the time we're done, you guys will be very, very good at summarizing. You will be efficient. So let's get started. You're probably asking, what is summarizing? Good question. So let's take a look. Here we have 4 answers that you can choose from. And I want you to go ahead and take a look at the 4 choices and go ahead and write in the chat what you think is the best description of a summary. You have choices A, B, C, or D. So if you'll go ahead and mark in the chat which one you think, and I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. I see you guys are go ahead and type it there. Okay. And actually, it looks like most of you are typing in D as in dog. And if you chose that answer, then yay, you're correct. Summarizing is basically getting the main ideas and important information of the text, right? So we are basically getting the gist of what we read and just getting the main points of it. So yes, if you chose D, you are correct. Now, I want to start off with some of the things that we shouldn't do when summarizing, right? And then we'll jump into some of those good things that we should do. Usually, when I ask a student to summarize, they usually come up with 3 of these ideas that I'm going to go over with you right now, okay? And just to reiterate, sorry, these are examples of what you should not do. They are no-nos, okay? So the first strategy that kids like to do is what I like to call the copy and delete. And basically what it is, kids will copy a few of the ideas from the text, write in a few of their own sentences, and then delete out a few of the sentences that's already from the text. So I call it the copy and delete. You put in some of your own, you take out some from the text, and then you present it to the teacher and say, here's my summary. And that's not what we're looking for when it comes to a summary. So that is a big no-no. We don't want that. Okay. Bad strategy number 2 is writing everything down. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are guilty of doing that. Yes, I'm sure you are. We don't want that one either. Okay. When the teacher asks you to summarize, when Ms. Miller asks you to summarize, please do not give me everything. I do not want everything. I do not want every single detail. That is not what summarizing is. Okay. So that is also a no-no. And then another one that you guys like to do is give me a little bit. Okay. So a lot of times you go from giving me everything, right, to giving me a little bit. And doing as little as possible is not a summary. Okay, it's nothing wrong with writing a complete sentence that covers the main points, but just giving a short sentence that has none of the main ideas, none of the details, is not what a summary is. Okay, so those three things we want to stay away from. We want to make sure that we are not doing the copy and delete, that we are not writing everything down, and that you're not giving Ms. Miller just a little bit to make me happy. Okay, those are all of the no-nos. So keep that in mind. That's not what we want to do. Okay, are we good so far? Okay, so now let's talk about what a summary should look like, right? So Ms. Miller, what should a summary look like? Well, when you are writing a summary, there are some key points that you need to remember: character, setting, and the important events and details in the story. And when you're writing those details, we want them in the order in which it was told throughout the story, right? So it's not rocket science. As a matter of fact, one of the easiest ways to probably explain it to you guys would be the 5 W's. I'm pretty sure you guys probably remember the 5 W's from elementary. Well, that's what a good summary entails: the who, what, when, where, and why. So when you're thinking about writing your summary, you're going to think about who the story is about, which are the characters, the when and the where, which is the setting, the what, which is going to be your conflict or your problem that's going on throughout the story, and then your why, which is going to be, why is this conflict happening? What's causing this conflict to take place? So who, what, when, where, and why. 5 W's that you learned in elementary, you're still going to use that today in high school. You have all 5 of those, you will have a magnificent summary. You can never go wrong with the 5 details, the 5 W's. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do just a little practice, and we're going to practice number 1 with the Very Hungry Caterpillar. I'm pretty sure you guys are probably familiar with this story. It is the story of the Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle, a very, very popular children's book. I'm going to read it to you. Actually, I'm going to play a video that's going to read it to you. And I'm going to need you to pay very close attention. Okay? Pay very close attention to the story, because you're going to have to summarize the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Okay? So at this point, I would click on the link and play the Very Hungry Caterpillar. The link will be placed in the file folder for the students to access on their own, but I also project it on the screen. And once the story is finished, then students will have to choose the best summary that represents the Very Hungry Caterpillar. So now that we've read the Very Hungry Caterpillar, let's choose the summary. I'm going to put on the screen 3 options, okay? And I want you to read each option very carefully. I'm going to go through each slide, as a matter of fact, and you're going to read each option carefully, and I'm going to need you to decide which option best summarizes the story, the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Option 1, 2, or 3. So here I will show the students each of the summaries, okay? And they will have to choose which summary is the best. So now that you guys have chosen which summary, go ahead and write in the chat box which one you think is the best option, 1, 2, or 3. And let's discuss. So once they've placed their options in the chat, we will discuss which one was the best outcome, right? What's the best summary for the story. So we'll go over summary one. Summary one wasn't very good because it included personal opinions and the information was incorrect. Summary three was too much information. Okay. And then summary two is actually the best summary for the Very Hungry Caterpillar. And like I said, we will discuss the options as a class. Once that is done, students will then go into their breakout groups and they will do another practice with this sample text, which is called A Penny for Your Thoughts. They will go into their groups. I'll give them 10 minutes. They will read the the story, and then they will summarize it as a group. After those 10 minutes, we will come back together and we will discuss our summaries and figure out what a good summary is together for that particular piece. Once we've had the practice on the penny for your thoughts, then they will go into independent practice where they work in the small groups. Students will go into their breakout groups and they will summarize 5 different nursery rhymes. So within their groups, they will have the PowerPoint that goes over summarizing, and within the PowerPoint we have the 5 nursery rhymes, which is here, and they will have to summarize the nursery rhymes as a group. Each student would have to turn in a paper with their summaries. Within their files, they will also have 2 graphic organizers to use to help them with their summaries. I will have the group split up in a homogeneous mix. Homogeneous is grouping. That way they're all within similar ability groups. That way I will be able to go in to each breakout room and work with each group. Some of the groups are going to need more help than others. The advanced group, they don't have to use the graphic organizers if they don't want to. It's not mandatory for them. But my lower level students, the ones who are not proficient, which there will be 3 of those groups, they will have to use the graphic organizers. It's their choice which one they decide to use, but they must use the graphic organizers to help them summarize each piece of nursery rhyme. I will be able to go in and facilitate and help with any additional questions they have, to give some small group instruction, some additional support, especially for those students who are non-proficient. One thing I want to talk about is the use of the children's book. I firmly believe that when I'm introducing a new strategy, especially when it comes to reading, that students, the text need to be on a level where all students can read. So when you have students who are in reading, it basically means they have a reading deficiency, right? So they're not reading on their grade level. And so you want to introduce a text that everyone can read. If you try to introduce a new strategy, to teach a new strategy, a new skill, with a text that is above their reading level, they're going to shut down and they're not going to be able to understand. They're going to get frustrated. So it defeats the purpose of students learning a new strategy. Once they learn a new strategy, then they can transfer that to grade level text. So using the children's book is very important when introducing a new skill, especially for those kids who are not proficient. The visuals, the graphic organizers, the small groups, those are all aids and additional support to help all of the students grow, especially those who are non-proficient or who need that additional support.